rossoneri, this is AC Milan Talk. Finally, we are back. We are ready for a new episode talking about our favorite team with all the going-on both on and off the pitch. Here with me today, there's Sheridan Bird. Welcome, Sheridan.
Hi, Licia. I hope you're feeling refreshed after our break.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm feeling ready to go. I'm looking forward to today's episode. So much to talk about.
What about your week without Serie A? We missed a lot our rossoneri.
I missed you and Adriano, obviously, but I did other things and I relaxed. I recharged the batteries, and it's, as I say, it's great to be back, and I'm excited about today's show.
So let's start with a lot of talking points today. Let's start with our men's first team. It was a tricky Saturday afternoon at Via del Mare for our rossoneri. They showed us great skills and their superiority in the match for the first half of the game, but at the second half something went wrong. Sheridan, what happened?
Yes, it seems like 1,000 years ago, doesn't it, because of the international break, but it wasn't the best way to go into the international break. It was a difficult match, difficult conditions, but, you know, I think the team showed great spirit because there was one point where it looked like it could be even worse for Mr. Pioli's side, but the 2-2 draw, probably a fair result, and to leave an intimidating place like Lecce, to leave their stadium with a point isn't too bad. Not what the team wanted, but it wasn't. It was not a simple fixture. This is the opening goal, and it was that man again, Licia, Monsieur Giroud. I hope you like my pronunciation there. And he scored. He's been in really good form. Obviously, he would be a protagonist a bit later on in the match, unfortunately, but or for unfortunate reasons. But that was good, and Adli enjoyed that. That's a great celebration there. And this is the second goal. And that was a wonderful goal, wasn't it? And that was Tijani Reinders there, driving through midfield, with a really good finish. No one challenging him. It's great for the Dutchman to get on the score sheet. Really good finish. And at that point, it looked fairly positive, didn't it, Licia? 2-0 up. Celebrations and that kind of thing. But then the match did switch slightly. Lecce pretty quickly, or rather scored to put the pressure on Milan, and then things became a little bit difficult for the rossoneri. Mike Maignan tried to get across, but couldn't get there in time. And then this was the goal to make it 2-2. A really good shot, to be honest. Again, no chance really for Mike Maignan. And Milan had to settle for the point, had to settle for the 2-2 draw, which, as I say, is not the optimal result. It's not the result they would have wanted. But it's a point at a difficult ground, and they can be very useful.
Today, Adriano is not here
I was wondering where he was. Something felt a bit different, but yeah. Normally there's a very friendly man next to me, but he's not here today.
But he's always in AC Milan Talk team. He's always thinking about us, and he recorded for us a little clip. So let's take a listen to his comment about the last international break. Adriano Del Monte.
It has been another big international break, another busy international break for me on the road. So I'm in Germany today, wrapping up Italy's qualification to the European Championships. That's great news for the country, great news for the league as well. Always good to have the national team participating at the pointy end of these tournaments. So we're looking forward to that. Of course, there were a number of our boys away on international duty. Not too many playing minutes, which could be a good thing coming into, obviously, a very important week ahead. But have to make quick note to a record-breaking evening for France. It was their biggest win in their history, 14-0. Olivier Giroud scored a double. Mike Maignan had very, very little to do, as you could imagine. But, of course, coming into this next week, I've said it many times before, Licia, Sheridan, sorry I'm not there with you, but this is another decisive week. There's no doubt about that. Starting with Fiorentina, we know how big the weekend is in Serie A. The top six all playing each other. Milan third, Fiorentina sixth, Atalanta and Napoli fourth and fifth, and of course the top two in Juventus and Inter doing battle in Torino. But for our boys, again, coming into a match where they have had good recent history in a fixture, but another match that simply an opponent must be respected, but 3 points are the objective. No doubt about that. A Fiorentina team, particularly in attack, a number of players really firing and performing really well. But there has been some positive news off the field. we have seen Christian Pulisic is making a very good recovery from injury. So hopefully a near full strength team for Mr. Pioli to put their best foot forward against a Fiorentina team who are anticipating that they will be playing in European football next season. They've been speaking very boldly about their ambitions. So good luck to them on that front, but no luck this weekend because it's an important 3 points on offer for AC Milan in the lead up to, of course, the Champions League. Now, this is big. This is the match that, look, a season-defining match. You do get the feeling about that. Mr. Pioli spoke at the start of the Champions League group stage saying that the home fixtures must be won, and none more so than this one. Obviously, so far, so good with home fixtures in the Champions League this season. The 0-0 against Newcastle on the opening match day was a very solid performance. We remember what happened on match day 4 against Paris Saint-Germain, but this time around, no excuses, 3 points, an absolute must. And why? Sheridan, the maths, I'm not there in the studio for you, but let's break it down because Borussia Dortmund 7 points, Paris Saint-Germain 6, Milan 5, Newcastle 4. Quite simply, if Milan can pick up all 3 points here, go ahead Borussia Dortmund in the standings, it means going into the final match day, destiny, fate, everything in our own hands. And that's certainly the objective here because we know Paris Saint-Germain, they are expected to beat Newcastle. So if those results go according to plan, we are in a very good position going into match day 6. And it's going to add more pressure on this match because the last match day at home, a must win. But off the back of match day 4, guys, you really do get the feel that this team are fully confident they can do exactly that. Now, against an opponent who always in good form, Borussia Dortmund must be respected. We know that. They were unbeaten in 17 Bundesliga fixtures before the international break. However, their last 2 matches, they were defeated by Stuttgart and Bayern Munich 4-0. I covered that match very closely. Defensively, look, if our attack can get on top, I do feel there are goals in this one and a big, big chance to pick up a big 3 points. But I'll leave the analysis to you guys, and I look forward to seeing you in the studio next week. Ciao.
More success for the Rossoneri on the final evening of the international break with the Euro 2024 qualifiers in the spotlight.
Yeah, he was very good. Adriano was very good, wasn't he? I enjoyed
always.
that. I learned so much. Yeah, it was the international break, as Adriano said, that not every Rossonero played lots of minutes, which can be a benefit. And it basically means that they'll be coming back with a renewed energy, hopefully, and ready to make things happen because, as Adriano was saying, it's a huge period, it's a huge time, a huge few matches for the Rossoneri.
Well done, now it's time to get back to Serie A and we don't stop until March. But on Saturday night, a new challenge, a new action for our Rossoneri at San Siro against Fiorentina. What we should expect against Vincenzo Italiano's Viola, Sheridan?
Well, Fiorentina are a very interesting team. They were European finalists last year, as I'm sure you know, and they're coming off a victory against their cross-mountain neighbours, Bologna. So they'll be on a high. Prior to that victory against Bologna, they'd struggled. They lost 3 in a row, but they are a very good team, and I think it's going to be a tough tactical challenge for Mr. Pioli. This is a previous meeting. That's a goal from Super Rafael, but Vincenzo Italiano, their coach, their manager, is a very, very interesting. Highly regarded coach in Italy, so I think it's always going to be an exciting challenge for Milan. They've got 1 or 2 players to look out for. They've got Nico, the striker, who can be very dangerous, and they've got an old friend, let's say, from Milan. They've got Jack Bonaventura, who we remember here very well. We remember him very fondly, but he is a very gifted player. So it will be a challenge for Milan, but it will be a great way to start a difficult week would be getting a positive result against the Viola. And you can see the scenes from the last meeting. That's a slightly scrappy goal. It's not too sure who it comes off, but it goes into the back of the net, and it doesn't matter how the victory comes. The important thing is to get a win against the Viola.
Many important absences for our Rossoneri for Pioli's side with Rafael, Olivier Giroud, now also Noah Okafor, and Christian Pulisic is ready to get back on the pitch at San Siro.
Yeah, it's the time of the season, midpoint through the season, where winter really starts to bite, where you do pick up injuries, and obviously those players that you mentioned who are unavailable are huge presences. Olivier Giroud is banned as well, he can't play. So Mr. Mr. Pioli will have to do some shuffling, will have to move his resources around, but the quality is there in the squad, I think, to get a positive result.
Plenty of fixtures to come. On Wednesday night, another European night for UEFA Champions League. Borussia Dortmund are coming at San Siro. What we should expect about this one, Sheridan?
Well, we talk about it very regularly on this show, that the home crowd, the Milan fans on European nights, are exceptional. They make such a difference. Now, Borussia Dortmund, you can see they are actually top of the group, but it's very tight, this Group F, so it means a victory for the Rossoneri would change things substantially. Dortmund, for their part, they had a very good start to the season, but they, in the last meeting in the Bundesliga, their last fixture domestically, they lost heavily to Bayern München, so they'll be you know, a little bit wounded by that, and they have got one or two injury doubts. Their very good goalkeeper Gregor Kobel got injured on international duty, so he might be a doubt. We're not sure. Emre Can, who once played in Italy a few years ago with Juventus, is a potential doubt as well. So they've got their own problems to contend with over selection. And this is the first meeting of Milan and Dortmund in Germany, and that was a quite dramatic 0-0. But Milan, I think, have to win, basically. I don't want to put too much pressure on the Rossoneri, but they've got the quality. And as I say, the fans at San Siro make European nights very intimidating, even for very experienced teams like Borussia Dortmund. And the fans can play such a part, they always do. And just hopefully Milan can find the net this time against the team from Germany.
That's all for Pioli's Let's, so let's move on to our women's team. Well, big news. We are obviously talking about our Rossoneri's new head coach, Davide Corti, who will take charge of the team, leaving his post as coach of Women's Primavera.
Yeah, it's a new start, let's say, someone else in charge of the women, and he's taken over. He was previously with the Primavera, so he knows the players, he knows the system very well. He's expected to play a 4-3-3, although obviously that remains to be seen. But naturally, we wish Mr. Corti all the luck, and we hope he'll be very, very successful in charge of the Femminile.
A former football player and a professional icon as coach, but he also won the Viareggio Women's Cup with Primavera's team for women, obviously, last season.
Yeah, but he knows what he's doing. As you say, he was a player for Milan, I think, in the 1990-91 season, but he didn't make many appearances. But he's obviously found another talent in coaching, and we hope he can inspire the squad, because it's a good squad. We say it every week that the squad has got some very gifted players, so hopefully Mr. Corti is the right man to just unlock the talent and help the women climb up the table, because their position in the table is not right if you consider the actual ability they've got.
Talking about their upcoming action, the one against Inter, how is our new head coach going to prepare the match with the
Well, it's exciting for him, because he's got a big match straight away. The derby, or the derby, as we say here in Italy, is always exciting, whether it's the first team men or the women or the Primavera. Inter themselves are not doing perhaps as well as they would have hoped, and they lost their last match very heavily to Juventus, and they've actually conceded quite a lot of goals. So I think it's a chance for the new look Milan Femminile to do something special. Whatever happens, it will be a really exciting match, and one to savour, because the derby is always glorious.
So, welcome to Mr. Corti, and good luck to our Rossoneri for the next game against Inter. Let's move on to our under-19s. A great win, an important result against Lecce, Sheridan.
Yeah, it was the wide players again who made the difference, Sia and Scotty, who cropped up with the goals, and you can see there is confirmation. They're just playing really well. They did have a minor setback a few weeks ago against Empoli, but other than that, Mr. Abate's side are just playing very, very well, and the evidence of that is in the table. 1 point behind Inter, and I think that's only because of the match against Empoli, which didn't quite go to plan. But the team are playing really well, and against Lecce, they got back to winning ways, which was fantastic. And it's, again, just like for the first team men's squad, it's the beginning of a very important week. This is the first goal against Lecce, and it was a really clever finish by Diego Sia. And you can see how much they adore the boss, Mr. Abate. Really good group hug with Ignazio, and a very delicate finish there, Lecce. Not an easy goal. Sign of a great player is they make difficult things look easy. Just like you make presenting AC Milan look easy, we know it's not, but you have the skill to make it seem that way. And that is the second goal by Filippo Scotti, another one of the wide players, just putting it into the far corner. So a really positive result to set up this important part of the season.
But now ready to take on Cagliari, and with the main objective, as you say, to return at the top of the table and to stay there.
Yes, that's got to be the mission. And Cagliari, they've conceded quite a few goals, Cagliari, so there's definitely a weakness in their defence. So I think, although Mr. Abate and the team will have half an eye on the UEFA Youth League, which we'll come to shortly, they definitely, I think, would go into this match thinking they have a chance, they have the quality to beat Cagliari. So a positive result. There might be some rotation. Mr. Abate might rest some of his players, but I think that the Rossoneri, the young Rossoneri, have got enough to beat Cagliari.
Not only Primavera 1, because on Wednesday, the match against Borussia Dortmund under-19s.
It's coming back, and we love it. We love it when it comes back. The Champions League, when it's in town, whether it's the Youth League or the full the men's team version, it's always exciting. And with a win, Milan would guarantee progression to the knockout round of the UEFA Youth League, which is an incredible achievement. You can see the young Rossoneri there, top of the table with 9 points, and Dortmund, and if they get to 12 points, that would put them out of reach, certainly. Newcastle, I think, are out of the running, but it would be really great to get a victory against Borussia Dortmund. They actually won. Milan won the corresponding match in Germany a little while ago. So again, the European form that the team have displayed this season leaves me very, very enthusiastic for a positive result against the Yellow and Blacks.
Our club has always kept an eye on the young talent, and today we are going to focus on the staff who are doing a great job behind the scenes to get the results on the pitch, with the interview with Vincenzo Vergine, our head youth sector. Let's listen to his words together.
Vincenzo Vergine, è un piacere darle il benvenuto al Milan con questa prima intervista, perché è la prima volta che affrontiamo tematiche sempre interessanti. Con lei è il nuovo responsabile del settore giovanile e io parto dalla domanda che tutti si aspettano in questo momento guardando il settore giovanile. Qual è l'obiettivo con cui arriva il Milan?
Ecco, cominciamo subito con una domanda semplice. La prima considerazione che faccio è che è per me un grande onore aver ricevuto questo incarico e la chiamata da uno dei club più importanti che c'è al mondo, per uno dei progetti più ambiziosi del mondo, cioè perché il primo grande vero obiettivo, rispondo alla tua domanda, di un grande vivaio è quello di formare in casa le risorse per la prima squadra. Formare risorse per la prima squadra in un grande club significa mettere in piedi uomini, donne che lavorano a questo progetto con un indirizzo, una visione unica che ponga al centro il calciatore, quindi che tutti gli operatori, noi ne abbiamo diversi, sappiano qual è l'obiettivo e come aiutare questo calciatore a performare, a migliorare, e quindi il calciatore diventa la nostra mission, quindi tutti quanti, da partire dal responsabile, dal direttore fino all'ultimo dei collaboratori, devono avere chiaro in maniera evidente che il processo finale di tutto il nostro lavoro è cercare di tirare il massimo dalle loro potenzialità. Questo è il vero grande obiettivo. Dirlo è semplice, farlo ti posso assicurare che è una mission abbastanza ambiziosa.
Il Milan viene da anni in cui ha fatto bene già come risultati nel settore giovanile, è tornato a vincere uno scudetto all'Under 15 2 stagioni fa, poi ha fatto diverse altre semifinali, finali. È più importante il risultato o è più importante altro in quello che diciamo fa un responsabile del settore giovanile?
Richiederebbe tanto approfondimento questo tema perché è un tema molto complesso, cioè i veri risultati di un grande vivaio, di un grande settore giovanile sono quanti calciatori tu hai portato nella prima squadra o nelle prime squadre, cioè che sono diventati valore economico oltre che tecnico ovviamente. Quindi questo è il vero grande risultato di un grande settore giovanile.
This was the most recent interview from Vincenzo Vergine, our head of youth sector. But that's all for today. Thanks to Sheridan Bird.
Thank you very much, Licia. Great to be here.
See you next week.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks, dear Rossoneri. Thanks for following us, and see you in the next episode of our AC Milan Talk. Ciao.